Yo, what up, guys? Welcome to Faded Town, the number one Pokemon podcast in the world. Those are facts. Look them up in a book. You can Google that shit. Poke Stats. Doesn't matter. The only thing you're gonna find is we're number one. It doesn't matter, guys.
Yeah.
If this is your first time watching, I don't know what you're watching, but you got a problem. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow us. We just get the best. We get the best guests. There's no one that gets better guests than us, and we take a whole different approach. This ain't no stupid deck profile bullshit shit. We get the insight. You get to see what these people are really like. And today's guest, he's a big one, man. He just fucking killed it last week.
Damn it.
Oh no, it'll be 2 weeks from when this is out. But at San Diego Regionals, we got the most humble player I hear ever. And from what I look at his Limitless, he might be the most slept on fucking player in the game. Justin Bokhari, man. What's going on, man? How are you doing?
Good. How are you guys? What's up?
Good, dude.
Chilling, man. Chilling.
How's your day going so far?
A little busy, but we're getting there.
That's what's up. So when like I said, I was looking at your Limitless, and well, let's start with how long have you been playing this game?
Okay, so my family and I started playing, I think 07, 08 was the first year we started playing. The first tournament we went to was a States in 07. Me and my sister played. I think I went 3-3. I think my deck had 30 energies or something.
That's about right.
I threw a bunch of stuff in there. And then we liked it, and I don't think we played the rest of it. It was the States of 07.
Okay.
And I don't think we played the rest of the. No, we went to a regionals, I think, a month later, because it used to go Battle Road cities, then states, then one regionals a year. I mean, that was pretty crazy. Now imagining all the regionals now, just having one. But yeah, so there was one regionals. Then we went, and I was able to get ninth, which was pretty good. And then I remember that I enjoyed it, and my sister enjoyed it. And then we continued playing, but no big tournaments or anything. And then we decided in 07 or 08 to try for a Worlds invite. And then we just went for it. And then during some point during the middle of the season, my brother decided to play also. He was 5 at this time. So we had to kind of teach him to play, but he got the hang of it. And then we all ended up making Worlds that year in, I think it was Orlando. And then we kind of just kept playing from there.
Wow. And your family, all of them still play?
So my sister stopped when she got into high school. My brother took a break last year because he was a junior in high school and he wanted to focus on that and try to strengthen his application and focus on getting into college. And I think he's going to try to play again this year. So it's really just me and him.
Okay, that's what's up. And how many World Invites have you had since that? Every year?
Okay, so 08, I played until 2012. Then I took a break from 13, 14, and 15. And then I came back the 15 and 16 season. So let's see, 8, 9, 10, 12. So I think this would be my 11th.
It's mind-blowing.
I mean, I've been playing for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm almost aged in this game. So.
Definitely. And when I look at your Limitless, you killed it 2016, 2017. It looked like top 32 every fucking regional.
I did okay with Greninja. I think most
Greninja.
Right?
And I've noticed that a lot in a lot of the top players where they find one deck and they just fucking destroy with it. And,
I kind of believe. I remember a philosophy also when I first started playing. Somebody asked Jason Klaczynski why he only sticks with one deck throughout the year, and I believe his philosophy was that he likes to play one deck throughout the whole season because he feels he can master that deck and kind of tinker it throughout the whole season. And as long as it's good in the meta, right? That he will be able to play that deck better than anybody else. So no matter what he sits down against or no matter what player or what deck, he can figure out a game plan every game because he knows his deck so well. And he just knows the ins and outs and he can figure out how to play basically any matchup.
Right.
I kind of kept that in my mind.
I think a lot that's been pushed out by a lot of the top players, and I think these other players should just start listening. I know, I mean, in my local scene, there's a ton of players. They just play a different deck every day. But when I look at these top players, it's last year you went I mean, you went like Garb, but like expanded. It's like two different things. But you just mainly went fucking Pikarom.
Oh yeah, I think
Yeah.
from Collinsville on to Knoxville, I don't think I played a different deck at a standard regionals or
No.
so like 8 months of Pikarom.
Yeah, you just went Pikarom and like the numbers show like you did fine. Like it's fucking smart. And like low key this year you fucking killed it. Pikarom twice. You're ninth, third, and first. That's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, I'm doing okay to start this year.
How many regionals have you hit this year?
Okay.
3?
4, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4.
4.
I didn't go to Portland or what's Daytona.
That's hilarious. He's 3 for 4, basically top 8s.
Well, yeah, I had the
Basically,
bubble, but
you got the 9.
almost.
Yeah, that's insane. So when you so like that's your main philosophy is basically you're gonna stick with a deck and run with it until it just doesn't work in the meta. So
Yeah.
like when you went into San Diego, Pikarom was just not the play.
No, yeah. So when I ended up going to Brazil and I tried to get Pikarom to work really hard and it was just trash. It was not good, not good. So I had to find another deck and then I went with Mewtwo, and I did okay. I went 5-2-2 and was able to get 128, but wasn't as well as I was hoping to do. So then going into San Diego, like I wanted Mewtwo to work, but it just didn't work. So I was trying to basically find anything to play, and that's how I kind of ended up on that deck.
Right. Is this like? Well, this deck is basically what what's his name was running, right?
Gustavo, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
Gustavo.
like basically it's his like base list. Joao and Gabriel got to San Diego a week earlier, and they kind of tested the deck up until then, and they refined the list that I ended up playing. It was a really good list, so big shout out to them.
Yeah, I remember I was watching your top 8 matches, and I was like, if he hits ADP all the way there, he's gonna win. Like,
I know, yeah, I got pretty lucky to hit ADP.
Dude, I was like, because I'm in the PokeStats group. I'm like, they're all talking. Oh, this guy. I'm like, I'll tell you right now, if Justin hits ADP all the way to the finals, it's free. It's over. And he just fucking killed it.
Yeah, we got pretty lucky that the bracket broke out that way. The finals, I ended up playing against Lucario, and I had no idea what was going to happen in that matchup, so I kind of just winged it, and it ended up working out. So,
so let's talk about outside the game. What do you do for a living wise?
Okay, so I just recently graduated. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. The original plan when I first got into college was I was going to be a doctor. Both my parents are doctors. I was kind of molded that way. But during college, I wasn't so sure. I kind of wanted to try different things, so that's what I ended up doing in college. But my senior year, I decided I wanted to go back, and so graduated. And now the plan is to take the MCATs. I'm going to use this year to like build the resume, try to take the MCATs and apply to medical school, and hopefully get in.
Nice.
All right. That's what's
Nice.
up. That's like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Because like,
Yeah.
when you talk, when I do a lot of these interviews, and it's like, what do you do for a living? I play Pokemon.
I stream.
I shoot. I coach, and then I talk to you. I'm gonna be a doctor. Okay.
I mean, everybody's different. So
Yeah, yes, I agree.
Yeah.
But it's just like it's a big gap, which is like
Everyone plays, man. It's crazy. Like
It is.
You get people from all walks of life that just pop up, and like me, like you'd probably look at me and think like he's a therapist, you know,
Right.
because like I don't really fit the bill. And then like you have people like Justin who are just really smart, and they, you know, they're just very
Mhm.
self-aware individuals who are going to be doing like really daunting careers that take a certain kind of person, you know. And then you have people who are really good at like streaming and like really personable, and it's just like such an eclectic mix of people that just,
yeah.
I think that makes the game like a big draw, you know.
Well, I
Like,
agree,
we-
100%. Like the
we all
community
love-
is one of the biggest reasons I came back after I took my break.
Right? Like, I was very unaware. Like, to be honest, I think I had a different mindset than, like, the opposite mindset. I thought everyone was like, I'm going to school to be a doctor, or I have this career. So when I started talking to people, and they're all like, I just play Pokemon. I was like, oh.
That's
Like,
you
am I?
do that?
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a thing. You guys are doing this, and like then it just became one after another after another. I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
Like-
it's kind of changed recently. I remember nobody when we first started, like
Yeah,
08,
nobody,
09,
right?
and even thought about doing this like full time. But now recently it's
crazy.
kind of cultivated, so it's pretty
Yeah.
good.
If so, like coaching and stuff, that's not even a mindset for you?
Not really. If somebody asks me for help, I try to help
No.
anybody I can anytime. So like if anybody asks me, I would try to make time for it, but I'm not gonna advertise it or anything like
Nothing
that.
like that. Yeah.
You can coach me, man.
Yeah,
He needs
anytime.
it.
I'll pay. Yeah, he needs it.
What are you talking
Tomorrow
about?
can just hit me up. I'll message back as soon as I can. So
Right.
Oh,
That's what's
all right,
up.
I'll give it about an hour before I'm in the
See,
DM.
you don't want to put that out there. You might just get flooded, boy.
No, now I gotta
I try
dive
to
in
help
there
anybody out as the
I
best I
know.
can.
I try to. When I get, but there's a limit. Like there has to be a
No, I
limit,
see what you're saying.
right?
It gets
Like,
exhausting, man.
when you get enough DMs from people, especially like at where I'm at, I'm like, why? Like, there's people that message me about decks I've never even touched in my life, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not the person for you. I'm sorry, but you gotta figure that out yourself. I'm like
I'm just not
Dark
reading the
Box
cards.
7 from 2009. I'm like, I didn't even play back then. Why?
Yeah.
Why are you even talking to me?
I mean, I always think of it like this. I remember when I first started, like, if I just trying to imagine like how I would have been if I asked for help, I just try to help anybody I can because it can be hard for newer players coming into the game or anything like that. So any way I can help, I just try to help.
That's what's up. I
That
think
was my. Good.
I think our community is becoming more like that. I think
Yeah, I agree.
for a long time, or I'd say the last 2 years, that our community was very not together. Like we had cliques and stuff, but I feel in the last like year, everyone seems to be cool with everyone. Like sure,
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah.
sure, there's some tension still, but it's a lot better than it used to be.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember even just like a couple years ago, like you were saying, a lot of fractions and divisions, but now it's kind of everything, like you said, is coming together a little bit better.
I think everyone just has the same goals. Like we're just here to have fun and win. Like winning's always a goal, and this whole no leaks thing is like I get it, but at the end of the day, I don't think it really matters. I'm out here just throwing my deck out there. I don't care. I got to play for Dallas just so everyone, if you want it, just message me.
Tweet it out so we know it's real, man.
Yeah, probably not.
Do what I
But
do. Do what I do. 10 o'clock every night before the event. Here's my 60. And then I'm coming at you with this, and you can't stop
Bro,
it.
I don't know what I'm playing till like 7:30.
Right? That's
Bro.
So I mean,
I don't know how you guys sleep.
dude,
Like
like,
the night before
I
an
don't
event.
sleep.
And you
That's what
don't,
people
right.
say to me all the
Exactly.
time. Yeah, I don't get enough sleep.
I was in their room at NAIC. They were up till fucking I don't know how late, and then I wake up and everyone's playing Baby Blounds, and I'm like, God, what the fuck you guys doing? I was like, I went to bed, everyone was on Pikarom. I wake up and everyone's on Blounds. But you stayed on Pikarom, right? Yeah.
I did, yeah.
You're like, fuck the noise.
You got
Nah,
top 16, right?
No, I day 2'd, and I think I bubbled out of one top 64. I think I got like, I don't remember the exact place. I
You got
remember
70.
there was.
I remember seeing you walk around.
Yeah.
And most of the time I see you on day 2 walking around playing at relatively high tables. So
I mean,
it's always good.
you-
It's always
like,
good.
At this point, it looks like you're day 2 king. Like, when's the last time you missed day 2?
Oh, Virginia this year when I played Trev.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, so you've been playing this game almost 15, almost 20 years.
No, 08.
12 years?
So yeah, so
12 years.
So 08. So it's gonna be about 12 years since I started. But I took a little break in between.
Yeah.
Like I was still involved, but I didn't play. So
And like, so you've seen the development basically.
yeah.
How big was it when they were like, "We're gonna give you $5,000 if you want a regional"? Like, as a player that just sat, that didn't really like. I played in 2015, like went to one regional, but then I jumped in and it was like, "Oh yeah, we win money." Like, I don't think a lot of people realize how different that is than.
Oh yeah,
Like-
it's definitely different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when it first happened, I didn't realize how big it was, but as the season went on, I just realized how much the game kind of changed when they introduced that. I feel like regionals became a lot more valuable, more people put emphasis on them. Because back in the day, regionals were important, but they're definitely was not as important as they are today. Like regionals are super important today. The same with like the IC structure. I remember when I first came back, that's when they first introduced the ICs. Nobody knew how they would work. I remember the first London IC I ended up going to. It was like new for everybody, obviously, and nobody knew what would happen, how it would go. And it's definitely not as big as it is today, where the ICs are treated like just massive events, where mini worlds basically.
Right, and like,
Yeah.
I seen this argument. I think it was on Twitter. They're talking like, because I mean, you played so long, you've seen so many structures of points and stuff. Like, do you feel like where we're at right now, where we get championship points, and this is the best structure that we played in, or do you think back in the day and some of the formats you played that like this was way better?
Okay, so I started in OA, which was the ELO structure, and I definitely think the championship point structure is better than the ELO structure. Like I remember there was a time, I think, so 2011, I didn't play in nationals from 2011 until 2017. Because I remember in 2011, I sat because I didn't want to lose my ELO points and lose my invite. And then I did the same in 2012, and then I took my break, and then I didn't play a nationals again until I think NAIC. I think the last nationals I played in was 2010, and I didn't play like a national event until NAIC, which is pretty crazy.
Gee.
All because of this ELO system. So I think it's better than that, because anything that incentivizes you sitting out like the biggest tournament in your country or place is just not a good system. So I think it's better than that. I haven't really thought about how this can be improved, but I think the championship point structure is okay. I could see how like the top 16 structure for some people gets a little bit like too pay for play almost, but I'm not sure the best way to change that. I haven't really thought about it too in depth.
Yeah, the top 16 thing is a different monster. Especially this year, they got to do like 8 cups a quarter.
I know that is
ridiculous. Fucking crazy. Like that's an easy fix. Let's change that right away.
Yeah.
I don't know how that wasn't fucking fixed. That stuff's nuts. I talked about it. Like, I mean, obviously you're a top player. Like, if you look at the numbers, you're a top player.
I'm okay. I don't know if I'm like, I don't like throwing around like top. I'm okay.
You're okay. You're okay. First, a third, and ninth. You played 4 regionals. How many? What's your point total right now?
Oh, CP?
Yeah.
929, I think.
Yeah, dude, just okay. I forgot. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But like, I talked to Xander about this, and like this whole the way it's structured, like to be recognized, like as good as you are, I know you're like not huge on social media or whatnot.
Yeah.
But like your numbers don't lie. Like you're last year you day 2 at least almost 20 events.
No,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I think
9,
it was
10, 11. All right, like 12 events. All right,
yeah.
Out of like what 15 in?
No, I think I only played like 13. It was like 12 or 13.
Oh, 12 for 13. It's 12 for 13 on day 2s, and like it's such a like you have to pay to be at the top. You know, like you have to play every event. Like, it's not a pay to win. This is definitely not a pay to win thing, but it's a pay to be at the top and be recognized, you know? As much as, like, there are great players out here. Like, you and Xander are really good examples of, like, players that don't get recognized for how good they are. I don't know if it has to do with, like, your social media, but I really think it has to do with that. Like, sure, you have 900 point. Are you top 16 racing, or are you?
Okay, so like the plan, I say every year, even last year, I say I'll see how the season plays out, and if I'm in the hunt, then I will go for it. If I'm not, then I'll just kind of just play.
You're in the hunt right now, right?
Yeah. So I think I'll just try to go for it at this point and just see what happens.
Okay. So that makes sense.
I think a lot of it is social media.
You think?
Honestly,
I think a lot of it has to do because like I made this example as if this game was completely online and you didn't have to travel for events, I think the top player list it would not even be close to me the same.
I agree 100%.
Right?
Okay, I could definitely see that. Yeah.
Because I think there are a lot of players. You could, like I said, there could be a fucking guy that lives in his mom's basement that just plays Pokemon all day, that doesn't go to any events, that could be a monster, but we don't know. But
True, because we can only go to like one regional.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. I think that the game is largely online.
What do
So
you-
now, I mean, as far as recognition goes, if that's what you want, and I just feel like your online presence makes you extremely recognizable. There are people out there that are very recognizable
that's true.
that are more online than anything like in real life. Like, I'll talk to my own experience. Like, when I started playing, it was my specific goal not to really be great at the game, but to like influence people in a way that was like good. And I just would say a lot of nice things. Or if somebody would post on like Hey Fonte about their shit getting stolen, I'd be like, hey, send me a list of what you lost. I'll fill in what I can. Things like that. Or calling out bullshit behavior, which is like 80% of the job online, especially because it's fucking toxic sometimes. And as a result, me, somebody who I have no real accomplishments. I'm just known as a nice guy. I get recognized everywhere. You know, maybe that's rare candy, maybe not. It doesn't matter. Like, people are like, hey, you're a really nice guy. They'll say something nice that I said online. It's never anything I did in real life, right? Because I have no accomplishments to speak of. I've done well in a couple of regionals, and I happen to be a member of a YouTube community through complete chance, right? Like,
Yeah, but
I
you
just have
just
to make
started.
friends.
Like you got to give yourself time to build up the accomplishments and stuff. But
Sure, right.
Yeah.
But I think that what makes me recognizable is 100% the shit that I do online, you know?
Yeah.
So I think the community is built online.
I think like I agree with you on that, but when if I'm talking like if you want to be recognized as one of the best players in the world, you have to go to every event and do well. So I mean,
Oh, it's one of the top players in the world. Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. Yeah, you have to show out.
even though like someone like Xander, who is
Yeah,
only going to go to
100%
5,
agree with what you're saying. Yeah, I agree with
like
what you're saying.
he's one of the best in the world. But
I agree
when you
100%,
go to the community, like in the broad picture, obviously the good players, his friends, the top players all know Xander's great. But your guy
Never in
that's
the
local, he's not even in the conversation.
Right.
Not even a thought. And like
I think a lot of that.
it's crazy.
I think a lot of that to me is like recency bias, right? Like right now, you know, I think, you know, Kywin is the best player in the world, right? Because he's crushed it all year. He top 2s or wins every special event or top 8s every regional or whatever. Like, that's what I think.
Right.
You know, now if Kywin goes to Melbourne regionals in what, 8 hours and does bad and Henry wins, a week from now and be like, dude, Henry, best player in the world. You know, like that's just the nature of. I think it's just the nature
Really?
of.
I think people look at Danny's 1700 CP and go, guy's a god, unbeatable. And like, don't get me wrong, Danny's a fantastic player.
Yeah.
One of the best players in the world. But that number is bullshit. Like, it is so skewed to how good you are. Like that. Like, there's no way you can look at that number and judge someone how good they are based off that number.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Right?
I agree with you.
But I think a lot of people do. They look at that number, and I think a lot of the top players, I don't want to put this like words in their mouth, but I think they look at that number and their like self-worth comes from that number. And just by talking to some of them, it's like, oh, I got to get this. I got to stay in top 16 and this. And I'm like, you already know you're good. You already know it. Like, you don't need the CP number that is like that's what I think that's what makes it toxic. But I also think that's just the top 16 race that is just so toxic.
I never thought of it like that, but the more you bring it up, like I'm starting to think, yeah, I could definitely see that how that number kind of just defines how your season goes. And even though like you could have a great season, but if you don't hit this number, it could just not be good in your eyes. That's just untrue. Yeah,
it's just so.
I think we all do that to an extent, though, in whatever it is we're doing. You know, like, I would never do that in Pokemon because I know where I'm at and I know my capabilities. But, like, in my work life, like, my self-worth definitely comes from, like, things like fitness and, like, how many clients I help and discharge that are, like, in a better place. And if I'm doing bad there, I'd be like, man, I fucking suck. Like I'm useless, you know? So I could definitely see it.
Yeah.
You know? And a lot of these kids are younger too, man. And that's another thing. Like you don't even have a sense of identity
Dude,
yet.
it is
When you're
crazy.
20, 21, 22. Dude, I changed between 25 and now 28. I'm a different. You guys would fucking hate me more than you already do. You know, like.
I think it
it's
gets
just,
like it gets even more wild when you think about how really young they are. Like when
I think. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, like when Xander told me he was 18.
yeah.
And I'm like, that's insane. And then
Dude,
when he was 16, he topped third, or he
Yeah,
got third at Worlds. I'm like,
Pretty
that's
Yeah.
fucking insane. I was like, and like I was like, how was that not a huge story? Like social media just wasn't. Yeah, I was like, social media just there wasn't like a podcast or something. It just wasn't there, and like that story should have been. He should be a fucking monster star, like top 3 at 16. And I'm like, you just made like $25,000 at a 16-year-old. Like, It's fucking
dude
from playing card games. That's insane.
I think a lot of it is personality too, though, man. Like,
yeah,
there's commonalities you could see with people like Xander and Henry and Justin, and then there's commonalities you could see in other players where it's kind of like, you know, like me, for example, I'm just very outspoken, and so are other people, and you know, I think that influences people too. Like a lot of the time, man, if you're a charismatic speaker, you can make people believe like anything. If you're all banging on your chest and shit, like
right. I don't think we have enough of that, in my opinion. I think once Russell O'Power like stepped away from this TCG, like as bad as like it might put a light on him, I think a lot of people are just really humble and nice now. You don't hear a lot of shit talk, and like I think we need it. I think we need it. It's so. I think it's fun. It spices up the community. It makes stories come out when you have two sides. If everyone's just sitting here, my opponent's a great player. I'm a great player. It was great. It gets old, and people are like, cool. I want some rivalry.
Or like you want to cut a promo on somebody, like
right?
Zach, at not so regionals, dude, I'm coming for you, bro.
Dude.
But like I can't control if I play you. Like if we could do that, that would be the best. Right?
Yeah, I don't know. Like
tight.
Yeah, I get it, but I think last year was so different because like DGG was like an entity, whereas
I kind of just took over.
Yes,
right, though.
And it became like DGG versus everyone, and it was like even if you're friends with them, like I've heard some bad shit about him, but there was enough people that still friends with them that it still was like, all right, what is DGG playing and how? Well, let's just hope they don't fucking win. And like,
I remember like round 1 of like the events after they won the first couple regionals, like, oh, what's DDG playing after round 1? Like,
that's still being said today. And like, like me and Dad, we were talking about it. It was like that group of people, even though they're all not under DGG anymore, they've literally just stole that name from Dead Row Gaming. They literally like it doesn't matter that Jimmy or whoever else is on this team or whatever, they're still DDG, and it doesn't matter. Like they literally took their brand and was like, all right, that's ours. like if you're a new player and you come to a regional and you're like, here, this guy's talking, he's like, oh, DGG's playing this. You'd be like, who's DGG? They're not gonna say, oh, that's a card store. They're gonna say that it's that group of people playing over there.
You see that group at those top 3 tables there?
Those guys.
All them, and then
they're playing that. And like, I thought that shit was so funny. I was like, you know what, Xander, you're right. That's just hilarious. Like, they literally got paid to steal their fucking name.
You know, after thinking about it, that would be kind of neat, man. Like, it would be kind of cool to have a little bit of gamesmanship, and
it is.
I think that we could do a lot with like the online portion of the community. Like we could do that online.
Like think about it. Could you imagine if when Jimmy won like 3 regionals in a row, if he was just talking shit the whole time, how fucking dope would that have been? If he's like, like you guys are trash. Like
I'm the best player in the world.
These fucking regionals are fucking free. I show up and they just give me $5,000. Like that's bad. Like he would have been hated more than he's hated, but like the fucking memes, he would have became like this superstar. Like everyone would have known his name.
Beat him at the regionals or knock him out of whatever the next they're like all over. I definitely see what you're saying.
They put a bounty on that guy. I really like Jimmy. That would, however, be actually fucking awesome. That would have been so funny.
Like I'm waiting for a player to pop off like that. Like you see it in other sports like MMA when Conor McGregor was on that roll. Like he just started talking shit and then boom, like the biggest name in sports. Boom, like shit talking. People just love that. And like right now in the community, it is so quiet and it's just like, oh, Justin won, yay. Yeah.
People will pay to see a guy they hate lose.
Oh, 100%.
People will pay out that ass for it. You know, like Connor would be out here like, I'm the best in the world and all this bullshit. Yeah. And then like I went to fucking Vegas to watch that fight. To go to that exact fight.
Which one?
I paid Diaz and McGregor. Yeah. I went to Vegas for that. And I paid
whatever.
I paid $800 for a ticket. And I bet $250 on Diaz because I so badly.
There we go.
And I won. Did I think it was going to happen? Absolutely not.
You're like,
but I paid out the ass to see that happen. It was so good.
And I think it would give the game personality, and like I think it's growth, as much as like it's like a self-sacrifice, as in like you might be very hated by most of the community. But in the long run, I think it would just be growth for the community. You would set more eyes on people. Like
this actually might help the game grow for esports too.
Correct. I was like, right now we're all just quiet little. Justin won. Last week, who won? Oh, Robin Schultz is doing great. Ooh, good job, guys. And like, as much as that, like, obviously everyone's super humble and it's hard. We need one person to just start faking it. Fuck it. Just start. Dude, you guys suck. I'm the best.
If we had some kind of like alternate like circuit or something where you can control who you play,
right?
I could actually see that working really well. Like some kind of grassroots streaming where they control like the invitational tournaments that used to be around a long time ago.
Oh yeah,
That's where the shit talking would have to happen.
Right. I think, but like I don't know, you could still do it. Like even Justin, like he's almost top 8ing every tournament. So like, or Grant's been on a fucking killer. If Grant just went off on Twitter, like he does say say a little shit. But if he went off, like I think the game, as bad as it would be for like one person, it would help the game in a whole. Like you might get banned. I don't know how Pokemon would take that. But like, what could Pokemon really? Actually, I don't know. They do a lot of dumb shit.
They'll figure something out.
You said what on the internet? Yeah, you're banned.
I'll call somebody out right now if you want.
It doesn't really happen when you don't even show up to tournaments. So.
Bro, I'm good now. I'm free. The chains are off.
Are you going to Dallas?
No, I'll play.
Okay, yeah, I didn't think so. Dude, I got the most brain dead deck. I got the most my buddy. I'm playing Lucario, just so you know.
And send me the list and I'll go to Dallas. How about that?
100%. My buddy, he never played Expanded. One game of Expanded in his entire life. Goes to Portland. I gave him my 60 day 2s.
Played all Zoroarks.
No,
didn't Lucario have like a ridiculous conversion rate?
Yes, it was 4 out of 5.
80%, yeah.
4 out of 5, baby.
It was unreasonably high. It was your conversion rate of day 2s, Justin.
Yes, exactly.
It was 97.3%.
Oh no, it's 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4. And like
so Justin still day 2s more than Lucario.
And like I'm telling you right now, if you look at the meta, if you guys are listening, this come out. Look at the meta right now. Lucario's looking great. That's all I'm saying.
Here first, Lucario's winning Dallas.
Send me the list. I'll go to Dallas. We'll do it. I'll call people out the whole way. I'll wear my finest. I'll wear my finest.
Go ahead. Going to Dallas.
Dude, everyone's going to Dallas. You should go.
That's the reason why everybody goes.
Yes,
I've heard.
The barbecue's great. The hotel is literally at the airport. It's fucking perfect.
I'll buy it tonight. You guys sold me.
That's what's up.
Justin, I got some questions for you, man.
All right, let's
about Justin the man, not Justin the player. Okay.
Okay.
So let's get to know him.
Yes.
I feel like Justin is one of the most enigmatic characters in the entire game, right? Like he's just a guy who shows up, gets the job done. but for a long time, you were the guy who could not top 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do you think that was, and how did you feel when it actually happened, and how did you make it happen?
Okay, so why do I think that was? I'm not too entirely sure. I've gotten close a couple times, like I bubbled a couple times last year and the years before. Sometimes I didn't play the right deck. Some day twos I didn't play as well as I should have. Like there's definitely some day twos I could have played better and possibly done it. Um, Outside of that, I'm not really sure. How'd I make it happen? I just stuck with the same thing, trusted my gut with Pikaram in Knoxville, hit the right matchups. I think I played okay, and I got pretty lucky, and it worked out. And then kind of just carried that over to San Diego, and we were able to get the dub. I just tried to play well, got lucky, and it worked out.
So
This luck thing, I just don't believe the luck. Like
I don't either.
you're too consistent to be lucky.
Yeah.
I got lucky to do really
Yes,
well.
yes, I think you do. There is a luck factor, but
Yeah.
when I look at Limitless, you're very consistent. And if you look at it, yes, you didn't day 2 for a long time, but something snapped. At some point, something happened, and you're consistently very close, if not top 8ing like every regional.
Well, I think after I took my break, I came back, and I think I was able to day 2, but I think I was probably still a little rusty, not as good as I probably should have been. And then as I've been playing more and more, I just feel like I've gotten back into the groove from where I was when before I took my break.
Okay. So it took.
So
I was able to top 8 before I took the break, like regionals then. It was just like since I came back and in the modern era, I hadn't top 8'd.
Yeah,
how is your so you guys call yourself your testing group? Do you guys call yourself something?
Oh, I guess some of us call ourselves the lab. I guess
That's what I was getting at.
It's me, Isaiah Bradner, Will Jenkins, Kiana Meany, Kenny Britton, Justin Kulas, Michael Bergerac, and Joao, and my brother Zach. We kind of just formed together this year and we started it, and I think we've done pretty good for ourselves, and hopefully it continues.
Yeah, you guys look good.
Cool. Yeah, that's a loaded lineup,
Yeah,
man. So go ahead, Zach.
I was just gonna say, like, the only person that that's like decent that I always test with is Kenny. Like, Kenny will hit me out, hey, let's play some games. Even though he's like, your list is bad, let's see if we can make it work. And then I'm like, yeah, fuck it, let's try it. But yeah.
Something I like about my testing group, though, I love all those guys. They're great people and they're great friends. Something I like too. Just you can shoot the shit with them or do anything, just not just Pokemon. Just something I like also.
Yeah,
I'd
my
say,
group is like that too, man. It's like,
is a team like sponsorship anything even like a thought for you? Do you want
Not
that?
really. I remember me and my brother did that a couple years ago, and we kind of just stuck with it. And when it disbanded, it's not really something we would want to do again. It's
Right.
like I don't probably see myself doing a team ever again. Probably.
Right. I think it's going in that direction of like, fuck this. Like, let me post that you should buy codes at this place for
Yeah. Well,
whatever, and let me work with my friends and let's win regionals. I think DG was like a groundwork for that, where people, as much as they are a sponsor team or whatever, they were so together that like I don't think we've seen that in the game, where like we've seen a group of people that were so together, wouldn't leak shit, and played so well at the top of the of like every regional, and then like everyone was like, maybe that's how we should do it, you know?
True. They definitely started the ground. I could say Limitless and them kind of were like
yeah,
that
it's
too.
Limitless. Yeah, true.
They kind of set the groundwork of you don't just have to be part of a team. You can have like a group of people, because I don't think Tord is part of Limitless, but he always works with them and they always come up with something crazy.
Yeah, like I brought this up in my last interview, but I had this argument with Raul about it, where it's like, I 100% believe that the people that you test with is your team. I don't care what the fuck's on your jersey or whatever you're wearing, you're sponsored by, but if you sat and played 10 hours with Justin, that's your fucking teammate for that fucking regional or whatever it is. And Like, and he's like, no, he's my friend. I'm like, I get that. You could be friends and teammates. Like, and he's like, that's disrespectful. I was like, what? I don't want to. It got bad. I don't want to get into it. But we just agreed to disagree. But like, in my opinion, I'm like, your teammates are definitely the people you test with and the people you trust.
Yeah, it's not the name on the jersey, right? It's the people that
exactly. I think that's one of the biggest problem with a lot of these so-called teams is that it's just a bunch of fucking people that are sponsored that don't even like each other.
I've heard that a couple times too from people. I don't know. I tend to agree with that. I think that it's a game, right? Like we all play the game to get away from all the bullshit over here, and then like this is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be spent with friends, right? Like I talked to probably 3 people about decks and cards and shit like that, and 2 of them live in fucking Singapore, Malaysia, wherever the fuck they live, and one of them lives here in America, and then that's a person who I could legitimately see be my friend for the rest of my life because we just talk about life and shit, and then we play, and then we're like, hey, this card's pretty good. Let's see where this goes. And I couldn't imagine being with some amalgamation of people from the game
that are good,
that I might have had a weird interaction with, especially like a while ago, but they're just good. So like, here you go, guys. Like, go figure something out, and remember to hashtag this.
It's not even like the problem is they don't even figure anything out. They all play different shit, and like they're just like, hey, I got the same jersey as you. So we're on the team. And
also I'll talk shit when they're not around.
Yeah. But if you win, dude, I'll be in the picture. I got you.
Yeah, I want the clout though.
Yes, I'm in the picture. And we're ARG #1 team, baby.
Yeah.
How many? Oh, there's 6 of you. Yeah, we played 6 different decks.
Some team.
Yeah. But I think it's very fucking especially to get a group of people that are actually really good at the game. To work together is fucking precious. You should hold on to that.
100%. If you find a group of people you trust, and people you enjoy hanging out with and just playing with, and that are good and that can, everybody benefits from it. I agree 100%.
Mm-hmm. The meta in Vegas is so bad. Like, no one trusts anyone, and we'll get 10 people that go to a regional. There's 10 different decks. No one's works together on shit, and if you have an idea, they all just you're crazy, that shit's dumb, or I'm just it's a lot better to just work together on one thing than to spread all your resources thin. But it's just a clash. You can't when people don't mold, it just doesn't work. So I sit here and I'm I got fucking PTCGO. That's my best friend,
dude. Justin tells us that, and I'm legit envious.
Dude, I'm so jealous.
I haven't played in a tournament in Buffalo since early 2018, maybe, because I just don't play if it's not a big event. All my testing is online, and it sucks, man, because I would love to be able to just go somewhere like the card shop or even somebody's house and just test for an event, and then just eat afterward. That sounds like the best way to experience this game. Whether your goal is to win or lose, it really doesn't matter. It's we just want to do the best we can, and we want to be the most prepared, and we all have a common goal. And that just brings you together, man. If you have somebody who's cool otherwise, that's the shit, dude.
I agree 100%. That's why I like the IC so much. Not just for the tournaments, the experience, right? Just being there with a bunch of different people, even just testing before the event and just after the event too. That's what I enjoy most about this game is the experiences. Not I enjoy playing a little bit, but the thing I enjoy most is obviously the experience and just making everybody coming together and even just hanging out afterwards. That's what I like most.
I see that was my first NAIC without people from Vegas. I didn't go with anyone. I hit up Sam, and he's like, I got a room on the floor for you in this room of 20 people, or there was 10 people in this room, and I knew none of them. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I want to go. I want to play. I want to try to get my invite. And by far, it was the best experience in Pokemon I've ever had. I met so many different people. We tested, the testing in that room for that whatever 6 hours we did of just watching like 3 people play and talking, by far the best testing I've ever experienced in my life. And I'm like, this is how the top players do it, and like it's fucking good. And and then when it's all over, we all go hang out, and we went to bars, we all hung out, we had a great time, and it's just like, oh, this is how a tournament should be played. This is how you should have fun. Like, win or lose, you go and have a good time.
Yeah.
Like, my experiences before that is like, I have 4 people with me. We all sucked, and we're all salty, and we're sitting in a hotel room mad that we suck. And I'm like, what the fuck were we doing for this long? Like, just have fun. Like, at the end of the day.
Yeah. That's it,
Yeah.
man.
And like, even like I seen the pictures of the Brazil when Sam Chen got fucking everyone to go to that fucking dinner. I was so jealous. I was like, that is such, like, I think that brought the community together so hard. Like, and it looked like so much fun. I was like, I need to go more ICs. Fuck the
I
rest
want
of the
that
shit.
so
We should
bad.
do that for NAIC.
Yes.
I want that so bad, dude.
It's
I'd love to see
gonna,
it.
dude. NAIC should be the like after my experience at NAIC, I always tell everyone, I'm like, if you don't go to any regional, just go to NAIC. Like,
I agree, 100%.
just go to NAIC. It's a different monster out there. It's way more fun, like, than anything that I've ever experienced.
Yeah, dude, to be one of the 60 people in that photo, man, it would have been like a dream come true, honestly. When I see stuff like that, I would have been like, man, well, what I say, I was like, man, I wish I was in that damn picture, you know?
But that,
it ain't
like,
it ain't like that. It ain't like that for everybody, man. Like, it's just a privileged spot that some of us have, you know? Like,
well, I think
being
that
able to make the
picture.
friends and be included and do that kind of stuff and be looked at in a certain way of being like, included or involved. It's just like, I'm lucky for it. I have people that I probably have no right of ever having met just by virtue of comparing credentials, but luckily it's more than that,
Yes.
which is really nice and something that everybody has to keep in mind. You know,
Yeah, I think that
something
that
could be good or
picture-
bad, but just maybe they're
Right.
just fucking cool, right? So just come on, dude.
I really think that picture almost defines this season, to be honest. I think if you look at that picture, there's a lot of people in there that 1 year ago wouldn't even talk to each other. And like, that picture you just see, and like everyone in that picture is smiling, and it looks like they're having a great time, and everyone posted that picture on Twitter or whatever, and was just like, you know what, this is what Pokemon's about, the community coming together. And I was like, when I looked at that, I was like, that just like defines of like the lines have merged, and we don't have that separate like bullshit I'm sure there's probably still, like, whenever you put that many people in one area, there's people that hate each other, but to come together and really just take a picture like that is fucking, it's fantastic, to be honest.
Yeah, it was nice to see.
And like Sam Chen gets all the credit for it.
Yeah, set it up. It was
Damn
really
good
cool.
one.
Yeah.
So, Justin, I have one more question for you.
All right.
You're very humble and you're very quiet, and you're very accomplished. And I would like to know, has this always been your demeanor? I just want to know kind of, why don't you get involved in stuff online, or why do you like to fly under the radar, and how does that help you, you think? I just think that your personality is very unique and not usual. And to somebody like me who's interested in people's motivations and why they do what they do and stuff, that's like been a very interesting thing for me. And people don't know a lot about you, I think, as far as like, you know, learning from watching people online and just reading the stuff they put out. Once you answer that question, if you wanted anyone to know, someone who doesn't know you, to know anything about you, what would it be?
Okay,
That's two
so
big
I'll
questions.
start with the first part. I've always been like quiet and reserved, I think, my whole life. I don't think I've ever been that outgoing. I'm not sure why. It's just kind of just been my personality throughout my whole life. Even when I did other things in school or sports, I was always involved in like soccer and stuff. I was never like rah-rah or stuff like that. even now when I go to the gym and stuff, I like to go when there's like less people and stuff, because it just makes sure like I can get my stuff done. I don't have to wait for stuff. Just usually just, I don't know, I guess kind of just the way I grew up. There's more quiet and reserved. Me and my brother are both like that. My sister's kind of outgoing, so I don't think we were like raised that way. I just think it was just my nature. And I guess the one thing I would want people to know about me, that's a tough one. One thing. I guess if anybody had any questions or needs any help, they could always come to me and ask. I'm always open. I'll try my best to get back to you or answer any questions as soon as I can. Just know that you should never be afraid to come up and say hi or ask any questions. I think that's the one thing, I guess.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I met you, because we live in kind of the same area, roughly. We can get to the same regionals.
A little bit, yeah.
Kind of. And, you know, I was friends with Peter and Edwin and those people from the city, Noel and stuff, but I had never met you, and you were just very approachable. You were just, it's like we had known each other for a while, and you were familiar with me, and that was really cool for me. So I endorse what Justin just said. Really great guy. I think that you're fantastic for the community, and you have a very admirable demeanor that I think a lot of these younger people should absolutely learn from, because you don't have to be rah rah, bang on your chest, look at me, I'm the greatest, here's my sponsor, to be recognized as somebody who's really, really, really good and really fun to be around. So thank you for that, and keep doing what you're doing, man, because a lot of us out here, we're really stoked to see you win, big time. And you might not think of yourself as a top player, but you are, and you're a great role model. So thank you for that. I've always wanted to tell you that. I'm going to tell you right now. Thank you.
Thanks for the kind words. Appreciate it.
Well, before we wrap this up, I have one last question.
All right.
I have to know, did that $80 8 pieces of sushi you ate the night before you won San Diego Regional taste any better after you won?
Bro, I'm still trying to find the rest of my food.
Dude, that shit was so funny. We're sitting at the table, and like I showed up late, and like they're all looking at the menus, and Roll's like, "Oh, we're just gonna get this." It's like $80 for sushi. I was like, "What is it?" He's like, "Oh, it's chef's choice or whatever." I'm like, fuck that.
Never good.
I'm just gonna get this." And like, I didn't realize how late it was, if they were closing or whatever. But out of nowhere, the guy comes over. He like takes all your orders, and then he's like, "Oh, we're out of rice." They bring out.
Yeah, what? I was like, what?
They're out of rice.
How the fuck?
Made ingredient. How can you run out of rice?
We're out of fish. We're out of raw fish and rice.
They bring out these like gold platters that has like 8 little, like not pieces, like this little pieces of sushi.
I think you're giving it more credit than it was. I think it was like this.
Yes, it's tiny, and like they all down it. Like I had like 2 rolls. I eat my 2 rolls. I'm like, cool. They're like, we're waiting for our next one. Dude comes out with checks, and they all just got cooked. I was dying. I was like, dude, you want some of mine? Because mine was $12, and I got more than you.
Let's go to Arby's.
Yeah, it was fucking hilarious. Fucking Rolls, like, I'm not tipping. Fuck this shit. I could just see everyone's face. I looked over. I was just like, God, you guys got fucked.
Yeah, we got
I'm pretty sure they all went to get. You guys went and got pizza after, did you?
Yeah, me and Rahul got some pizza because it was not enough.
You had an $80 appetizer?
It wasn't even an appetizer, dude. It was worse.
Not a single grain of rice on that damn gold plattered plate or gold.
Dude.
That's bullshit.
Couldn't even. Dude, when he came over.
Just go fishing.
Yeah, at that point. Dude, that's what they did. They came up, they're like, we're out of rice. Do you want just like a bunch of fish? I was like, nah, I'm good. Like, I'll just eat this. This is fine. Fuck. But after you win, like, it had to be okay. At that point, it didn't matter, right?
It was okay. Yeah, it was all right. I just know that if I ever go to San Diego again, I'm probably not going back to that food.
No. Fuck, dude.
They actually want to sponsor you. They just called.
All right.
Well, to be honest, I want to blame it on the tournament because we're there till like 10 o'clock at night because
Give the benefit of
the
the doubt.
online pairings was like the worst thing in fucking human history.
Don't remind me of that. That was a little bit of an experience. But hopefully it gets better because more events to go.
Yeah, I think we're fine. Any event that's not ran by that TO.
Yes.
Oh,
Because I don't know, you weren't there, but like 90%.
I saw it.
Did you see the?
Screenshot.
Did you
The
see?
screenshot. And I went to Anaheim last year, and it was the same shit.
Dude, everyone had to go look at paper of pairings. It was fucking trash.
Like it's fucking 2015.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, that's funny.
Yikes.
You got any shout outs or sponsors or anything you want to shout
my
out?
Sushi place sponsor that let me see. A shout out to the lab, as I mentioned earlier.
Dope.
Bunch of great guys. Appreciate everything that they've helped me with this year. Shout out to Joel and Gabriel for having the list and the deck, building a great deck. Shout out to Rahul and Keon for playing the deck with me. Shout out to my New York and New Jersey guys for being great guys. Great
guys.
squad. My bad. Shout out to everybody who sent me a congratulatory thank you or message. I really appreciate it. You guys don't know how much I appreciate it. I just wanted to say thank you. Shout out to you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it. And I guess shout out to everybody else in the community. The reason I came back into this game after I took my break was because of the great community. So shout out to you guys.
Sick. Well, that's all we got for today, guys. It's time to scoop it up.